Hello and welcome to the Leverage Podcast. I'm Paul Richard, and we're welcoming a guest back again, Daniel Koran. It's good to have you with us, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Awesome. Well, last time we had the pleasure of talking about one of the things that are near and dear to your heart, and that was an event you had coming up. But this time we'd like to focus on your business, which is Branson Springfield Roofing Company. And tell us a little bit about, for those that didn't get a chance to hear the previous broadcast, tell us a little bit about yourself and how this roofing company came about.
I started roofing 27 years ago, and I've done not just roofing, but all kinds of construction. But we just kind of narrowed it down to doing roofing and siding and a few other things. A lot of times a person gets a storm claim, we'll end up replacing their gutters. Some people want new soffit, fascia, different stuff going on. So exteriors, but primarily roofing, and just wanted to bring a good quality roofing service to the area. When I learned roofing, my wife's from New Hampshire, and so back in the '90s, we moved up there right after we got married, and got her back around her family and stuff. And so I learned roofing up there. So when I moved back here in the year 2000, I wanted to go to work doing my new trade down here, and I was kind of surprised. Some of the products that were just standard on a roof up there, you couldn't get but special order down here.
Huh.
Specifically ice and water shield, which is just like a waterproofing membrane that you want at the eaves of your roof. And things have progressed over the years. People now, roofers, a lot of times will put ice and water shield in the valleys. But I still don't find many people putting that on the eaves like you're supposed to. And if you look at the manufacturer instructions, you'll see that there's ice and water shield on the eaves. And that's important because if you get snow and ice buildup, say your gutters are full of snow and ice and that starts to melt, it gets up underneath those shingles, leaks into your living room. You call the roofer, he gets out there 2 days later when it's sunny and you can't see any space where anything would have leaked. There's no holes, but it's just puddles and gets up under shingles. So if you have this waterproof membrane under there, if the water gets under the shingles for some reason, it gets on that membrane, comes back out in the gutter.
Ah,
And so it just saves headaches. And every 5 to 10 years, we get a good enough snow that it matters. And that would be the year you'd be wishing you'd spent an extra $500 and did it. So
exactly. Yes. Now, we first met on a home that I needed to have you evaluate. So tell us a little bit about the evaluation process that you guys do, and how you start that initial introduction to the client. Because your business is something where, I don't know, it you don't need your business until something goes wrong, right? Really, is what it amounts to. So, tell us a little bit about your inspection services and how that works together with insurance claims and et cetera. Can you give us a little detail about that?
sure. So like we love to work with realtors. A lot of times we'll be called out when there's a bad home inspection report, or if the realtor's conscientious, they'll call us before they list the property and we'll check it out just so they know what they're getting into before this thing goes up for sale. So we work on both the buyer and seller side of real estate a lot of times. We'll just go out and get a photo report and help you identify any problem areas. And sometimes, I've seen home inspectors that get up there and they don't know what they're looking at, and maybe it's not a problem, and we can give you a detailed analysis of what's actually going on. It looks weird, but hey, it's going to hold water out, so you're fine. And other times, there's home inspectors that won't even get on the roof, so they take a picture from the driveway and kind of give you a summary assessment. And the problem with that is, you your hail damage, you have to be standing on a roof looking down to see it. So the thing that really frustrates me, and I feel so sad, is when a homeowner just bought a house and they say, we want this place checked out, come check out our house now that we bought it. And we get up there and there's hail damage on that roof, or wind damage, stuff that would qualify for a claim. Had the seller known about it, they could have filed a claim on their insurance, got that thing paid for, and sold it with a better roof. Probably sold it for a little bit more money, sold it faster. New roof always looks better. But now we've got a new owner who just spent how much money on down payments and all this stuff, getting insurance going. And now they have to spend another $15,000 on a roof when they could have already had that done and it not be out of pocket anything but maybe the seller's deductible. So yeah, the more preemptive you can be with that, just getting your roof inspected and having a relationship with a reliable roofer, I think is important.
Very good, very good. And a lot of times when these like hailstorms come through and that type of thing, so you have a lot of out of area roofers that come in to take that on. What happens there? I was just curious. So, you're an established business in the market, and let's say, a storm comes through and hits, Branson or Springfield, an area that you operate in, and then it seems like every other truck you see on the highway is a roofing company. What goes on there, and how do you guys handle that when it's like a massive event like that, when it affects so many people?
Well, one of the things is those guys from out of town, they give you a taillight warranty. After you see the taillights fade into the distance, your warranty's over because they're never coming back. They're moving back to Texas, Oklahoma, Minnesota, wherever they came from. Um, and so, yeah, they try to come in and clean up. Honestly, the thing that storm chasers do, and we do work storm claims, but we don't go chasing them. If they come here, we'll work for people for their storm claim. But I'm more interested in let's go back with what you need on that roof rather than let's just do whatever your insurance is paying for. Because obviously, whatever was already there was fragile enough that the storm destroyed it. So
Yeah.
we could go back to something a little more durable so you're not in this situation again, rather than just go back what your insurance pays for. And some insurance will pay for you to upgrade to a better quality. It just depends on your policy, and a lot of people don't pay extra for that kind of policy. But I wish insurance companies would say, hey, let's go back with better so we don't have to file a claim on this again. But I doubt I'll ever win that battle, getting them to see that. But if the customer realizes, hey, rather than just go with the quickest job in town, a lot of these guys will come through and they'll say, hey, we're going to just do it like everybody else, but we'll get to it faster. We'll do it for whatever your insurance pays. But one of the things they'll do is, they might leave old felt paper on there rather than tear it off. And we'll find roofs sometimes that got 5 layers of felt on there. Well, that's trapping moisture against those boards. Guarantee you when we get those 5 layers off there, there's rotted wood decking underneath that roof because it's not been able to breathe, trapping moisture. It just starts to dry rot. So we're going to get all that off there so you can see the wood, put down new decking any places where it's rotted through or broken or anything like that, so it'll hold the nails and that new roof won't blow off. Something else we'll do too, Paul, is we'll at least introduce them to the idea of going with a hail-proof roof. So this is a wood shingle look-alike, but it's a rubber composite made from rubber, just like your tires, but it's got composites and polymers in it, so it's never going to weather check. It's got a 50-year warranty, but it's guaranteed against hail of any size for the first 2 decades that it won't break under any size hail. And if we ever got
Wow.
Texas size hail, some of that hail gets up to 5 inches, but the manufacturer guarantees it against hail of any size. And I think that's just a lot more peace of mind than having an insurance policy that will replace it. Now you've got something that's durable enough, and we've done it. We've taken hammers to it. We've tried to destroy the stuff, and it's so durable. We have a lot of confidence, and a lot more people are starting to switch to that now. That or a metal roof. A metal roof has a lot of hail resistance too.
That's great. You kind of drew me into the next questions I was going to ask. So I have always wanted to go to the National Home Builders show, and it seems like typically it was in Vegas. And next year there's one in Miami. Is it Miami? No, Orlando. I think it's Orlando actually. I signed up for it. I'm going to go down to Florida, and I think it takes typically a couple days to go through all the things. And so, because I love to know, my background is in some of the construction areas, et cetera, and so I like to know what the latest developments are, in materials and installations, and especially like smart home installations, et cetera, et cetera. So, how do you keep aware of these new products and that type of thing? Do you represent a manufacturer, or is it something where you just seek out information, or how does that work as a roofer?
I mean, we do go to conferences. So yeah, you get exposed there. I think it's just talking to other roofers. I know some guys that have been in it a long time, and if they hear of something that's working or they're using something new, that's how I was introduced to these kind of shingles. Was a friend that was installing them, and yeah, I just and just That is a good question. I don't know. Just the right information seems to find us. That and like on our commercial side, um, we've got a guy that has like 18 years experience doing commercial roofs, and he brought a lot of knowledge when he came on board of different products and stuff. Now he comes from the left coast, as I like to call it. He comes from Oregon, and so I brought my residential knowledge from the East Coast. He brought his commercial knowledge from the West Coast, and again, an extreme climate where there's products up there like a lot of um, a lot of roofs around here on commercial buildings are like TPO and PVC, which is fine for most applications, but it's not indestructible. And there is something that is a lot more durable. So, you know, if somebody's got a data center where they've got electronics or a hospital or something like that, and they absolutely can't have a roof fail in any storm or whatever, there's more durable products, even for low slope, what a lot of people call flat roofs. Um, and and then just, you know, suppliers, if they're selling stuff, they're going to keep you up to date on what's available in the market because they want you to buy it. So yeah, there's a lot of channels, I guess.
Very good. Yeah, have you been to this the National Association of Home Builders conference
I have
before?
not.
Okay.
No, sir.
Well, maybe we'll have to talk about that. Maybe we could
Yeah.
link up and go down there because I think it would probably benefit both of us in that way. And because I always like to know
You said
what's
Florida?
behind. Yes, yes, yep.
I mean, that's reason
NEH.
enough to go.
Yeah, it is absolutely. I think it's Orlando if I remember right. So we'll have to look it up sometime early in the spring. And well, let me get into the marketing side a little bit because you know, everywhere I go, I see Daniel Koran and his little blue phone holders everywhere. Kind of earmarks for you. But so, what's your background in marketing? You know, you seem to be very, very involved in a lot, at least in the realtor community and those types of things. So, tell us a little bit about your strategy there and how that has worked for you over the years.
I don't know if it's strategy so much as obsession. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So everything I've done, I've always just gone all in on marketing. I don't know why, and some of it is a waste of money, and we shouldn't
Sure.
have done it. You know, we've blown thousands of dollars, probably tens of thousands of dollars, and stuff that afterwards, just like, yeah, that didn't deliver. So I wouldn't recommend all of it. And I'm not sure. So we've got a full time marketing person, but I'm not sure I've given her a good solid guideline of this. This is what pays. Market this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, some of it's just like that sounds fun. Let's try it. That's how I roll. So yeah, but the other thing is too. I just want to support causes that are meaningful, and that can look like marketing sometimes because they'll put your stuff out there. Just like, you know, Elevate Branson's doing this dinner for people in town. We want to get behind that. Or tomorrow, I don't know when this is going to play, but tomorrow is Veterans Day, and so
Yep.
we're sponsoring Veterans Day for Christian Action Ministries and supporting what they're doing, fundraiser for the Festival of Trees down on the landing. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I saw some pictures from there, and we're doing from our networking group. We're going to be making a trip down there and that type of thing. Beautiful, beautiful things. And
cool. Well, while
just to
you're
let
there,
people
vote
know,
on our tree.
well, I'm sorry.
While you're there, vote on our tree. You got to put dollars in the box and vote for our tree so we win
Oh,
when the
okay.
drive by.
I will do. I actually was sorting eggs the other day at Christian Action Ministries. I think we sorted about 1,000 eggs in about an hour and a half. And anyway, but it's just for those that don't know, we have a local ministry here that's Christian Action Ministry, which is the food pantry for Stone and Taney counties, which includes Branson and Branson West, et cetera. And just a fantastic ministry. It's phenomenal reach, and then also you mentioned Elevate Branson, which is a multifaceted, you know, I guess just from a charity standpoint, helps people get it back on their feet and back into the workplace, etc. But they have so many things that they do to help people lift them up. Obviously, they call it Elevate Branson for that reason. So, just some really good ministries that we have here locally and good causes going on there. So I can appreciate that. That's really cool that you are involved in those things. And so, give us an idea, like in your operation right now? What is your structure? You have two locations, right?
Yes,
Springfield and
sir.
Branson, which are about 40 minutes apart there. And so how many do you have on staff? Do you have several, people going out and doing pricing, or how does that work?
Yeah, we've got about 16 employees. And then, to do full installs, we have just because insurance, and I talked to our work comp people about this. It's just like, if you had cut my prices, I could employ all these people and bring them in house. But it just makes more sense, insurance finance structure wise, to keep them as subcontractors. So we have dedicated subcontractors that work only for us on some of our stuff, and then I don't know, probably another 16 to 20 guys in the field that are doing that stuff. So yeah, it's a pretty good operation.
Very good. Very good. I didn't realize there was that many. I know some of your people, obviously, in the business from networking, et cetera. And so, what's been your growth? Give me maybe the last 5 years or so. What have you seen as far as growth, and what is your projections and your goals? Do you have a few things you could share with us?
Um, so yeah, I mean, we've grown probably by 30% year over year till this year. We're probably, I'd have to look at the numbers. We're probably not going to be much ahead of last year. This year, we did 5.5 million last year. And we had a lot of windstorms this year, but not a lot of hailstorms. Big
Ah,
hail that gets a lot of roof spot with insurance. So we will have about as many jobs, but a lot more of them are repairs than replacement. So it's not going to be our biggest profitable year, but I know that we're still getting known in the larger market, and it'll grow. We'll be double the size probably in a year.
wow. Okay, that's fantastic. So, are you staffed up right now for handling the marketing side and the sales side and that, and then and also with your crews that you have to take a double digit growth in your business?
Yeah, so I would say production and office wise, we are ready. We're always looking to take on A players for sales. Um, and that's, you got to hire five people to get one good one, it seems. And I don't like
Right.
those odds, but that seems
Yeah.
to be how it goes for sales because it's just a different game. And a lot of it, and this goes back to that emotional health thing. If your mental game isn't strong, sales will destroy you,
Yes.
especially if you're working cold market. And so, getting that right person that gets it on multiple levels can be fun to find them. But I actually just had a random moment this morning and sent out a message to the company chat, just like, you know what, I think we've got the best team ever. I can't, I didn't say this in the group, but I can't think of anybody that I want off the team. We've really got a great team, and I say this often that if everybody had new roofs right now and nobody needed a roof, I'd invent a different business to employ these people because I like them all. It's a really great group of people. But we can always take new salespeople that can carry their own weight. We're always looking for that person.
That's great. So from an organizational standpoint, you've got that going on. And then tell me a little bit about your personal growth. How do you've got a big organization, you've got a lot of things going on with, different causes you're working with and some things that are close and near and dear to your heart. How do you keep yourself, motivated and educated and stuff? How do you build that in your own life?
So, a lot of it. So vision solves a whole lot of things. When you got a strong vision, it will solve a whole lot of problems. And
Yes.
I don't know how to relay this in a short time, but um, I did a session last year called Blueprint 2025 and kind of pitched a vision to people that if you set goals that are way bigger than you think you can fulfill, your brain starts eliminating problems and finding solutions. And if my goal was we're going to get this company to 10 million, um, I would get overwhelmed. But because my goal is much bigger than that, 10 million doesn't overwhelm me. Doubling the size doesn't overwhelm me. Um, so stretch goals, and a really good book on the topic probably would be a whole lot faster. Just a recommended book. 10x is easier than 2x, I think, is the title of it.
It is. Yep, that's good.
Dan,
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Yes.
yeah, Ben Harding and Dan Sullivan are the authors of that. And yeah, so once your telescope is stretched 10x, then 2x. Because if I was in the mindset of we're going to double our business, I would have to double my efforts. But when I say we're going to go for 10x where we are right now, and let's say in the back of my mind I've set a goal of 50 million, then my brain goes, oh, that's not humanly possible. So now we're going to have to find systems and processes that solve for 50 million, and it's not going to sit there and just try to work harder. So that's a real high level explanation. But what I do is, when I'm overwhelmed, which happens, just maybe 3 or 4 times a day. When I feel overwhelmed with all, because I'm working on my PhD and I'm launching these new events and stuff as well outside of the roofing company. It helps to just recenter. Sometimes I'll do some breath work, box my breath and recenter my emotions, get stabilized there. But also to sit and envision, rather than what it feels like right now. Oh, the deadlines, the time crunch. I've got papers that I do. I'm behind on my coursework, and I can sit with that and just feel this pit and this in my stomach. With our marketing budget, we spread ourselves pretty thin. I could sit there and feel emotionally exhausted about that, or I can go, okay, I've got systems in place. I know this is going to work, so I'm just going to breathe, relax. I've done what I can humanly do, and now I'm going to picture what this world looks like once we've accomplished what we're working toward. And then I just sit until I can feel those feelings of what it feels like to succeed, to be making a difference for kids that aren't getting childhood trauma, to be making a difference for more people with their roofs having better quality installs going on, and better budget flow, and seeing my people get pay raises and improve their life. Sit and think about those kind of things, and visualize happy customers. And then your equilibrium resets and borrows from those feelings, because you can sit there and catastrophize, and you'll feel all the feelings of how terrible something is, even if it doesn't go that bad. But you'll borrow all the feelings from, like, what if a tornado took away my house? You can sit there and feel all those feelings right now and never lose your house to a tornado. So you've wasted all kinds of energy. You've started, there's a new study out that what's happening in your brain affects the bacteria in the lining of your gut. So you sit there and worry, and you suddenly start not digesting your food. You minimize the blood flow. And then from that, you get bile, you get backup, you get all kinds of chemicals and toxins going through your system that would have been eliminated by good, healthy bacteria, but you suppressed it by having bad thoughts. It's that real. And so by focusing on not borrowing, so I've done it before where I borrowed from the past. I'll sit there and sometimes just shudder over things that I've done. I've been on scary roofs that I could have slid off and fallen to my death. And I will sit there and have all those emotions of, whoa, what if I'd fallen off that roof? And I've got to stop myself because I'm borrowing trouble. And I'm borrowing emotions from the past. Well, if I can do it from the past, my point is I can do it from the future. And I can vision this future good day when things are working exactly the way they're supposed to be. And I can borrow those good emotions and recenter my body, and positive emotions, like negative ones, affect every cell in your body. So, man, I can bring new health to my blood and to my mitochondria just by sitting there envisioning this future, where it's going, and the good things are going to happen because of it. So, long answer to your question.
No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, and I was just thinking, I just got back from a presentation on gut health and adjusting that. You talked about that. Cortisol just wrecks your system, right? When it's used, and if you're always in fight and flight mode, that type of thing, all those things. And so I'm going to be having a couple of doctors on pretty soon talking about those specific things, as well as a thing called protomorphogens, which will be an interesting thing. if you're familiar with that. And as you were going through that, I was thinking, okay, yes, one of the things is 10x is easier than 2x. The other thing I was thinking about was John Maxwell's book about the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And the first one is the law of the lid, right? We never think, we don't think big enough many times, all right? And so that is a process you have to go through that. And I also thought about something, a quote I once heard that said, I spend half my life worrying about things that never happened to me, right?
Yep.
And that's something where there's so many things that come up in that realm. And I mentioned that to somebody the other day, and it just goes, wow, I need to learn that. And I mentioned something else to somebody about the fact that most people, or a lot of people, are just getting ready to get ready, and so you need to get into action. I liked what you said earlier about get into motion, and this is a concept I think a lot of people need to hear. Get into motion and then adjust course, right? And that's really what you do. You said you're doing a lot of things with your marketing that way, and those types of things. And so, and I always like to think, God can't steer a parked car. It just doesn't work, right? So you got to be moving forward and that type of thing. So I appreciate all those things you brought up. And in closing here, is there anything you'd like to share from your heart about the whole thing with Branson Roofing and your cause and things going on? Anything that comes to mind?
I mean, our slogan is we're raising the roof on quality, and that's really what we seek to do. I've had people put their house up for sale often that we had roofed it in the past, and it's really a beautiful feeling to think, if I was to buy that house, I wouldn't do a thing different to it than what we did.
Yeah.
And I've got 8 kids, and 7 of them live in this area still. A few of them are still at home. And I don't worry about them buying a house that we've roofed. I know that we're doing it right in a way we could be proud of, and I just want to inspire other businesses to bring that to the community as well.
That's a great concept. And to tag on to that just a little bit is when I'm helping people mostly in the purchasing side of a home, and they're looking strictly as the investment, like this is somewhere they're going to live, and especially if they have young kids. And I say, it is an investment. Obviously, that's an important aspect of this. You don't want to overpay for the house. At the same time, your life is ticking away and you need to enjoy it. And so, a lot of people get their house ready to sell and they go, man, I wish we did this 5 years ago, right? I wish I had, put these countertops in 5 years ago or whatever and enjoyed those, but now you can let somebody else enjoy them, right? And so don't be afraid to invest in your experience, right? And in your the lives of those around you, because those moments are so precious and they pass by. So that's really awesome. All right, Daniel, thanks again for coming on board to the Leverage Podcast. It's so great to have you with us. And how can people contact you? What's the best way to contact you if they want to get a hold of you?
Well, our phone number is easy to remember. It's 1-844-TOP-THAT.
Okay.
Or you just go to our website. I'm sure it's easy to find us on Google. BransonSpringfieldRoof.com is the website.
Fantastic. Thanks again for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.